shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine. Helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear we're all God's children here. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear. Say a prayer and raise your voice in song. Where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong. And there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Let's begin with a deep breath and an honoring of our beating hearts. This awareness of life fills me with gratitude for my life, for the lives of cherished others, for the company of spiritual companions, for a world in need of what we came to give. Each of us is here on purpose, and we exist as part of an interconnected whole. I ground myself here in spiritual resources. In a time of new beginnings, imagination allows me to envision new and worthwhile activities I haven't yet dared to do. So I draw on courage as I move into unfamiliar spaces and try new things. The power and energy of life and the excitement of anticipation pull me forward. I am energized. I am renewed. At the same time, wisdom calls me to balance the new by letting go. I release my desire to do it all now. I recommit to my Christmas promise to be peace. Making room for rest, quiet, and peace, I call on faith and patience. I listen with sincere openness and find a sea of resource available to me from within and without. This morning, we celebrate the many opportunities we are offered and we create to support one another as we journey here together. And so it is.
Feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like
the great soul, flew from the Creator, bearing manna of hope for his country, starving severely from an absence of compassion. Martin Luther King Jr., the Great Spirit, came from the Creator, offering a sparkling fountain of fair play to his country, parched and deformed by hate. The whole man came forth with a brain of gentle wisdom to persuade quiet upon the loud misery of the mob. A whole man stood out with a mellifluous voice to bind the joints of cruelty. A whole man in the midst of a murderous nightmare to dream peace and serenity. Martin Luther King Jr. faced the racial mountain of segregation and bade it move. The giant mound of human ignorance, centuries old and rigid in its determination, did move, however slightly, infinitesimally, it did move. Martin Luther King Jr. Screams of vulgarity could not silence him. Firebombs and dogs could not take his voice away. He knew himself a child of God, on a mission from God and standing in the hand of God. He brought the great songs of faith, persuading men and women to think beyond their baser nature. He hummed the old gospels, encouraging folk to act beyond their puny selves. Martin Luther King Jr. He spoke respectfully of the Torah. He spoke respectfully of the Quran. In India, he walked in the footprints of Mahatma Gandhi. He preached fair play and serenity from handcuffs and prison garb, from leg irons and prison bars. He taught triumph over loss and love over despair, hallelujah over the dirges, and joy over moaning. Fear not, we've come too far to turn back. We are not afraid, and in the end, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, we shall overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect
Good morning, everybody. We are very excited to let you know that we have a fantastic hospitality coming up for you. The dragon decorations are really over the top, so take your time appreciating those. And all of the snacks are dragon related, so we hope that you enjoy that. I also would like to let you know that, remind you that next weekend, Reverend Nina will be hosting a service fair for all the people in service, and Youth and Family Ministries will have a table at the service fair. So I invite you to really take it into prayer this week and think about, you see how much fun we're having, and if you feel called to come and join us and our team, we generally ask people to commit to only one Sunday a month for 6 months, so it's not too overwhelming for anybody. So next Sunday during the service fair would be a great time to come and check in with me. Thank you.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender.
Thank you, Michelle, and all of you who support that ministry and make it so vital. And those dragon decorations, wow, it's amazing, very impressive. Thank you for giving us the gift of your presence with us here at Unity in Linwood this morning. What a pleasure to be together in our spiritual home. Mother Teresa spoke of community when she said, "You can do what I cannot do. I can do what you cannot do. Together, we can do great things." I believe she captured some of the spirit of this place with those words. Unity in Linwood opens its doors to all. We invite people from different backgrounds, from different religious traditions, from no tradition whatsoever. We come from different lifestyles and life experiences, and we draw from all traditions and philosophies. We learn a lot from each other as we share our unique perspectives, and together we grow community. We invite you to bring your gifts to this effort, and we extend our welcome to you. Every so often, I do feel moved to mention the value that can be found in the activities of our community on other days of the week. There are classes and book studies and activities, and every one of them provides opportunity to meet someone new or to learn something new or to clarify our own personal beliefs just a little bit more. What struck me from my participation this past week was finding wisdom words that I just needed to hear at the right moment in time, and sometimes I think it works that way. I step out a little bit, and Spirit finds me. Some of you have probably had that experience as well. As this new year begins, I encourage you to open yourself to a new experience. As always, you can find out about what's happening here at our wellness and information station right in the back of the sanctuary. I hope you will be able to stay after the service today and enjoy refreshments and some conversation. And as you will hear, there is then a meeting happening, so even more reason to stay. These conversations are another opportunity we have to extend welcome to one another. And as Michelle mentioned, Youth and Family Ministry, well, she may not have mentioned that this is Youth and Family Ministry Sunday, which it is every second Sunday of the month. And as they do on those second Sundays, they're really treating us to wonderful refreshments. All the donations benefit that wonderful ministry and their events and their programs. Affirmative prayer, including denials, affirmations, and meditations of many kinds, are pillars for our unity philosophy, tools for doing. We emphasize the creative power of our words, whether spoken out loud or just nestled in our minds. We emphasize the power we have to choose life-affirming words, even in the midst of things. We speak of prayer broadly. This quote by Charles Fillmore points us beyond even our words. He said, "So many people pray and pray and pray. They don't get action. Our bodies need to be acted upon. It is not altogether prayer, but it is doing. You must do something." So we might also say everything we do is a prayer. I've been reminded to listen again with greater attention and just ask myself, what am I saying through all these ways I pray? Having support in the prayer process can be an invaluable gift. So our prayer chaplains offer this gift to this community all the time, and we can avail ourselves of these services really quite easily. Of course, you could grab a prayer slip in the back of the chair in front of you and write your request there and put it in the offering basket, or call the confidential prayer line any day at any time, and also hop online, unityinlinwood.org, and following the prayer links, leave your requests there. The most personal way, of course, is to come on up after a service. Over at the sides, the prayer chaplains are very happy to meet with you, and I might ask them to stand right now so you can identify. I see a few of them in our midst. Thank you so much. Affirmations are positive statements of highest truth. Dr. Emily Cady said this: "To affirm anything is to assert positively that it is so, even in the face of all contrary evidence. We may not be able to see how, by our simply affirming a thing to be true, we can bring this thing to pass, but we can compel ourselves to cease all futile quibbling and go to work to prove the rule, each one in his own life." We practice this together each week when we share an affirmation. And the week's affirmation is on the screen behind me. It's a good one. I'll say it first and then invite you to stand and we'll share it. I honor God by living flat out, wide open, all in and out loud. Please stand if you are able. And together, I honor God by living flat out, wide open, all in and out loud. Yay! Let's greet each other while we're on our feet.
Everybody you meet, everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet. Everybody you meet, everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. All right. Stumble through your days, got your head hung low, your skies are a shade of gray, like a zombie in a maze. You're asleep inside, but you can't shake awake, 'cause you're just a dead man walking, thinking that your only option, but you can flip the switch reflection brighten up your darkest days. Sun is up and the colors blinding. Take the world and redefine it. Leave behind your narrow mind. You'll never be the same. Come alive, come alive. Go and ride your light. Let it burn so bright. Reach it up to the sky. And it's open wide. You're electrified. And the world becomes a fantasy. And you're more than you could ever be. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive. I see it in your eyes. You believe that lie, that you need to hide your face. Afraid to step outside, so you lock the door. But don't you stay that way. No more living in those shadows. You and me, we know how that goes. 'Cause once you see it, oh, you'll never, never be the same. You'll be the light that's shining. Bottle up and keep on trying. You can prove there's more to you. You cannot be afraid. Come alive, come alive. Go and ride your light. Let it burn so bright. Reach it up to the sky. And it's open wide. You're electrified. And the world becomes a fantasy. And you're more than you could ever be. 'Cause dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive. Becomes a fantasy. More than you could ever be. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive. You know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And the world becomes a fantasy. And you're more than you could ever be. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. 'Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open.
Oh, the greatest showman indeed. The greatest showman indeed. Welcome. Good morning, Unity in Linwood. I'd like to invite you to stay following this service. Your Board of Trustees cordially invites you to our annual financials meeting. Review the 2017 performance, the current position, and the future budget of this divine idea we call Unity in Linwood. We'd also like to invite you to an event we call Chocolate Cabaret. It's subtitled An Evening of Decadence. Chocolate, love songs, wine. Matthew and I have created this event. It's a $25 ticket. These are available in the spiritual gift shop. It is scheduled for Valentine's evening. We've made accommodations both for those who are partnered and for those who are not. You will feel welcome. Every service has an ambassador. This person's role is to support you in your exploration and discovery of this divine evolving idea we call Unity in Linwood. So if you have a question about who we are, about what we teach, what we believe, about what's available to you, you are welcome to engage Nan Allen in conversation. Will you wave, please? The words are those of Charles Fillmore. If you feel so inclined, you may repeat. I am. I am now. I am now in the presence of pure being. And immersed in the Holy Spirit. Of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power. O blessed Spirit. From your divine wisdom. Now remove my mortal limitations. And from your pure substance of love. Bring into manifestation my world. According to your perfect law. The Reverend Rich Carlini. What a pleasure to have you home. Would you welcome Reverend Rich Carlini to our sanctuary yet again? Welcome home, my brother. Welcome home. I think you deserve to know the truth about me, don't you? So here's the deal. I believe the $39 orange kitten from the shelter is just as valuable as that $3,000 wrinkly, hairless cat with the big ears. And the opposite is equally true, for you see, when it comes to life, value and money have no business even appearing in the same sentence. I believe children come into this earthly experience knowing things for which there is no earthly explanation. I believe there's a tremendous spiritual power in waiting, in those stretches of human uncertainty that reside between the fast yeses and the fast nos, so glorified by our society. I could say that while the cosmic green lights and the cosmic red lights satiate our need for immediate gratification, sometimes it's in the cosmic yellow lights that we find the sweetest rewards. If we can but wait. I believe our Puritan roots have done more harm than good. If we're to take seriously Unity's third tenet, that the quality of our mental world impacts the quality of our manifest world, and let's stand face to face and toe to toe with the shame that has been presented to us by our collective history. And let's draw a line this morning, relegating the history that belongs to our ancestors accordingly, declaring that no longer will we accept that our bodies have shameful parts and shameful functions. Let us draw a line this morning to dedicating the future that belongs to our children accordingly, declaring that our bodies are nothing shy of miraculous gifts, fully worthy of our respect, fully deserving of our gratitude. I believe if you find a great sale on something that you don't want, you didn't save a dime. I believe we should remember our pioneers, brave blacks, brave women, brave gays, brave immigrants, brave scientists, brave philosophers, brave warriors. I believe we should remember our pioneers. For each of us sits here in this beautiful room this morning because a not-so-distant pioneer paid a pioneer's price for our admission. And the pioneer's price is almost always high. I believe the normal family is the family you don't know very well yet. That we're all unique, wonderfully peculiar, beautifully odd creations. I believe if you want to learn about honesty, become a third-grade playground monitor. If you want to learn about acceptance, spend an afternoon with our teenagers. And if you want to learn about forgiveness, adopt a shelter dog. I believe what we call birth is the entrance into this earthly experience, and what we call death is the exit from this earthly experience, but that it's upon the eternal currents of capital L life that we truly exist. And I believe that it's only in a paradigm of life beyond that, defined by birth certificates and death certificates, that we can truly begin to grasp God. I believe heaven and hell are states of consciousness to be navigated today, not geographical locations to be navigated tomorrow. I believe all humans should be required to spend time in a different culture at least once a year. That what unites us in truth is far more compelling than what divides us in ignorance, and that we get this, we truly, truly get this, not in some college classroom, but seated around a table, breaking bread together. I believe you just as well spend a little extra and buy quality, spend a little extra and have it done right, spend a little extra and get what you really want. I believe in love, but be cautioned. This might not mean what you think it means. And I believe in Jesus, but be cautioned. This might not mean what you think it means. I believe in the Bible, but be cautioned. This might not mean what you think it means. And oh, I do deeply believe in family, but be cautioned. This might not mean what you think it means. In fact, I offer that our understanding of love and Jesus and the Bible and family are overripe for scrutiny by brilliant minds such as yours, for each has been too often distorted and misused as a weapon. I believe that if we are to err, let us err toward too much generosity, toward too much trust, toward too much kindness. I believe humanity could benefit from more of the child's vulnerability and curiosity. And I believe that gratitude is the most underrated of spiritual practices. In both grammar and in life, I believe we would do well to not put commas where periods belong. And to not put periods where commas belong. And to use exclamation points judiciously. I believe cruelty and bigotry and conflict are the results of ignorance. I believe if we want peace, we have to work for education. And I believe greater peace among people is dependent upon greater peace among religious leaders. We cannot continue to preach division and hope for unity. I believe the only prayer is a prayer for consciousness, and that all of the trinkets we think we want are merely symbols for consciousness, cosmic carrots dangled before our collective snouts by the universe, by divine mind, by God, each beckoning us to unfold toward our own Atman nature, toward our own Buddha consciousness, toward our own Christ nature. I could say that we like to think consciousness exists for the acquisition of stuff and things. I think the opposite is more true. Stuff and things exist as prompts toward the development of spiritual consciousness. The world can be brutal. I believe we are often more brutal to ourselves. I believe animals are sentient, thinking, feeling, relational souls. And I absolutely refuse to believe that cruelty to these brothers and sisters is ever necessary. I believe how a society cares for its oldest and its youngest members speaks volumes. I believe the days of the old schoolhouse with a teacher who knew more, pressing information into the minds of those who know less, I believe those days are done. That learning is a process of discovery, not acquisition. I believe we're all psychic. I believe we're all deeply psychic, that there truly is one mind which each of us uses in our eternal unfoldment. And so you and I knew each other before our bodies met, and that we communicate with each other and with countless others in untold ways. I believe every choice you make is causative in a chain of events which impacts life on the planet in ways beyond the ability of your wildest imaginations to conjure that both cruelty and kindness lurk in the shadows as potentials with every dollar you spend. I believe in beauty. I believe in order. And I do believe in kindness. And I believe you always, always, always have a choice. I believe that regardless of what might be difficult in your life, if you are able to gain a perspective of enough spiritual distance, you would see that it will all be okay. That everything will be okay. And I believe this awareness is what we often call the love of God. And regardless of how you perceive God, I believe God is available to all people of all faiths or no faith whatsoever all the time. I believe God is beyond human definition, that the lisping, limited words of our spiritual traditions fall short in their attempts to represent that infinite capital L life upon whose currents we find our existence. I believe all spiritual traditions, all divine texts, all enlightened leaders are, as the Buddhists would say, just giant index fingers, all pointing towards something that can be experienced only firsthand, all pointing towards something that can be experienced only by you. I like to say that God has no middle management. How ironic it is that I stand before you week after week after week, finding creative ways to tell you that the very life, love, wisdom you seek is as close as your next breath. That while it's with you at centers such as this, it's also with you underneath that down comforter of yours. That while it's with you during life's pinnacle moments, it's also with you during the mundane. How ironic it is that I stand before you week after week after week, finding creative ways to tell you, as the adage goes, that what you are looking for truly is what you are looking with. I believe pain delivers the gifts that comfort can't provide. I believe shadow and light exist as fond bedfellows, each necessary to the existence of the other. So if you can accept that you might experience the shadow we call parting, life is about making the relationship so rich that it's worth it. If you can accept that you might experience the shadow we call failure, life is about making the venture so bold that it's worth it. If you can accept that you might experience the shadow we call death, then life is about making your time on earth so soul-fulfilling that it's worth it. You see, life isn't about fearfully avoiding the darkness. Life is about boldly embracing the light. No man was ever remembered for how safely he lived. And finally, I believe God is that life which we share, that eternal beingness, that infinite I amness upon whose currents we find our existence. So in a very real sense, if you want to know God, seek to know life, both yours and that which surrounds you in every moment. And if you want to love God, seek to love life in every form, for there can be no life outside of the life of God. And if you want to honor God, then seek, as our affirmation says, to live the life which has been entrusted to you flat out and wide open, all in and out loud. So this is what I'm about. Now, if it is indeed what you are about, then you've come to the right place. Congratulations. And I offer this on this particular morning because your Board of Trustees and I have agreed to continue this walk together for another 3 years. And as part of that walk, it's my distinct privilege, it's my honor to offer their 2018 induction ceremony. So, Board of Trustees, please and thank you. Will you join me on the platform? I was checking. My brothers and sisters, your Board of Trustees is responsible for the macro management of Unity and Linwood, always rooted in prayer. Long meetings are dedicated to the excellent stewardship of finances and to the high integrity of policies. These meetings are followed with special meetings, countless telephone conversations, even more email messages. Each trustee is elected to a 3-year term by you at our annual business meeting in October. Roles are assigned internally every January. So it is that I have the honor of introducing this collection of noble souls and offering this ceremony. Please hold your applause until the end. The following questions are drawn directly from ministry bylaws. You're welcome to answer simply by saying, I will. Will you uphold the spiritual purposes of this ministry? I will. Will you uphold the highest interest of the membership in conducting the business of this ministry? Will you consider other duties and issues brought to your attention by the minister, other trustees, or any member? And the following are not drawn from bylaws. Will you continue to practice prayer in your life and in your service to this ministry? Will you continue to live as an example of spiritual integrity in your service to this ministry? And finally, will you entertain grand possibilities and noble visions for Unity in Linwood and all of humanity? You're in such good hands. Will you welcome and show your appreciation to your Board of Trustees, please? Our goal is to write 2 songs per month beginning in 2018. This will be the first. We dedicate it to this noble new beginning. For us as a community, for your Board of Trustees, it is drawn from a Gaelic term meaning soul friend. And the phrase is Anam Cara, soul friend. We come together as a community of soul friends. Fair enough? The words will appear behind Matthew. You are welcome and invited to sing along.
Anam Cara, Anam Cara, Anam Cara,
be in the energy of soul friend for a minute. Truly, I see you. I see the highest truth of you. And I trust that you'll see me. Anam Kara. Anam Kara. And so it is.
I had words that were going to open up our heart, but I don't need them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are blessed to have world-class musicians bringing us original music and world-class scholarship. Because we need a little time here for the ushers to do what they do, I'm going to share a quote from Charles Fillmore as the ushers come forward to accept tithes and love offerings. Charles Fillmore said this about giving: "The act of giving complies with the divine law. It involves the recognition of God as the giver of all increase. And as we gain recognition of the source of our supply, we gain assurance of continuing in its use."
Blessed always, blessed always, on the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed
And for these gifts, we give thanks that the spirit of love and truth multiplies through our highest intentions all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Thank you, ushers. If you are new with us, this is the moment that we like to just acknowledge your presence, and I think I might ask a raise of a hand. If you've not been with us before, we'd like to know if there are new folks here for a little orientation, but I don't see any hands. Oh, I do see a hand. I see a couple of hands. All right. 9 o'clock, I went through the whole thing, and there were none, and I thought, maybe I should check it out. Just a little orientation. There's a newcomer's information card in the back of the chair in front of you. It looks like this. And there is a DVD right to the left of the doorway as you exit. It, again, shares a little bit about our activities and what goes on here. We would like you to see that if you're interested. And there's also a stay in touch card in the back of the chair there. If you would like to get on our mailing list, then we would send you just a couple of emails a month to let you know what goes on here. And they are both informational and inspirational. We're very happy to have guests come when they do so. You've already let me know that you are here, so please feel free to come on into the Friendship Hall after service and join us for conversation. We'd like to get to know you. I have a few announcements. Please always visit the Welcome and Information Station at the back, and there you can grab a postcard that details all of the following events. Please mark your calendars, your schedules for January 27th. Spiritual Saturdays with Rabbi Ted Falcon happens at 11 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock, a Eucharist by Father Dan Duval. Unity and Linwood Small Group Ministry presents Search for God, a study group starting Monday, January 29th, to discuss and apply spiritual principles as taught by Edgar Casey. Using meditation, affirmation, and discussion, take your spiritual practice to the next level with Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy and Fran and Tom Curley. Books are available at 20% off in our gift shop. We are very lucky to have such minds among us. All actors, singers, and dancers, jugglers, poets, and pogo stick masters. Please see Director Cheryl Jones for details specific to our second annual talent show, UIL On Stage. Rehearsals will begin on Saturday, February 3rd. Cheryl, are you, there's Cheryl. Thank you for doing this. Reverend Nina Clark offers World Religions, a 4-week class offering hands-on experience of the practices and rituals of our greatest spiritual traditions. Bolster understanding, ignite curiosity, and heighten respect. The class runs Tuesday evenings in February. And 2 events will support the Linwood Food Bank. Our Youth and Family Ministries is hosting Super Bowl Sunday on February 4th. Please bring cans of food that Sunday, and our youth will deliver the donations. And Unity and Linwood's local humanitarian outreach ministry will accept disposable diapers during the first 3 weeks of February. If you would prefer to give funds, please write Super Bowl or local humanitarian team on the memo section of a check. We so appreciate your support. And finally, please welcome Prayer Chaplain Julie Newman to the platform for a special invitation. Julie.
Morning, almost afternoon. So I invite you just to take a walk with me for a moment and imagine the sanctuary is clear of all chairs, and in the center there is a beautiful labyrinth. And this labyrinth is illuminated in the center and all around it by lights. The chaplains invite you to walk the labyrinth with us, a path to quiet your being and release as you walk towards the center. The center is the place to receive insight and illumination. The return path is about union with your divine self and bringing your light out into the world. We will also have finger labyrinths for those who prefer not to walk it. So please join us this Wednesday evening, January 17th at 7 p.m. for a sacred night to be blessed in community. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, and all the prayer chaplains for offering us this opportunity. They always put a lot of thought into such offerings. This and all good things can be found on your printed program or by visiting our Facebook page or the calendar page of our website at unityandlinwood.org.
2 weeks from from today at 1 o'clock for an afternoon concert. Erin English, Elizabeth Herreza, and Carolyn Crusoe will be back. They are just fantastic. So I hope you'll join us on the 28th. If you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song.
So if there's a first name of any soul you would like to introduce into this consciousness of love and support, please speak that name now. So on behalf of all those names offered, whether with the human tongue or the human heart, it matters not. On behalf of all who have turned something of a spiritual ear toward this conversation, we look up. Look up. We look beyond appearances. We look beyond circumstances. And in the spirit of Anam Cara, we lift our voices with faith and with boldness as we speak together these closing words. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
The light of God surrounds us. The power of God protects. The presence of God watches over us, and all is well. The love of God enfolds us. Wherever we are, God is. We are safe, we are cherished, and all is well. All is well.
What a privilege it is to walk with you. Truly, I thank you. And we close our time together as we always do by speaking our words. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.